Maybe next time. That's what he said, with a smile that made it seem like he was offering a gift, not driving a blade into my throat. I swallowed the sting. That was the 13th time. 13. I kept the printed email tucked away in my desk drawer, just like the dozen before it. Same structure. Same recycled excuses. Tough competition. Your turn is coming. Leadership has shifted priorities. Never once a nod to the weekends I sacrificed, the holidays I gave up, or the clients I convinced not to walk away. He called me essential, just not essential enough to elevate. So, I smiled, gave a polite nod, pretended to understand. Then I stepped out of that room and quietly began lighting the fuse. 6 years earlier, I had walked into that firm fresh-faced and eager. An entry-level analyst, hungry to prove myself. He told me I had a gift, an uncanny ability to read patterns, timing, and pressure points. I believed him. I pushed myself relentlessly, determined to make him proud. Each year, when evaluation season arrived, I'd sit across from him, waiting for my shot. The door to opportunity never opened. He kept me within arm's reach, leaned on my ideas, applauded my precision, but always made sure there was a ceiling just inches above my head. I was his fixer, the cleanup crew, the reason he looked like a genius. And I played along, too long. But something shifted after the 13th rejection. It wasn't anger. Not sadness either. It was clarity. If they weren't going to give me my rightful place, I'd build a place of my own. I didn't walk out, not yet. I studied late into the night, worked weekends quietly, and began building a portfolio outside the company. I secured clients who would follow me. Private investors seeking bolder leadership. People who appreciated the shadow I was behind every win. And then, I started collecting proof. His doctored reports. The whispered off-the-books deals. Contracts shuffled between shell companies. The higher he climbed, the sloppier he became. He assumed I'd never turn on the hand that had never actually fed me. By the 3rd month, I had enough to obliterate him. But that wasn't my goal. Destruction is noisy. I wanted disappearance. I wanted clean erasure. Month 4, I met his biggest client for dinner. No official agenda. Just wine, conversation, and stories of the trenches. The client always assumed I was a partner. When I told him I was still in a mid-tier role, he blinked in disbelief. "You're the reason that firm hasn't collapsed," he said. I smiled. I didn't argue. That night, he asked if I'd ever thought of starting something of my own. By month 5, I said yes. Registered the new firm under the radar. Secured a small office space. Recruited 3 of the most talented employees he'd long overlooked. 2 were already fixing his broken systems behind the curtain. 1 had full access to his master client database. You'd be amazed how quickly loyalty pivots when people realize you were the one making them thrive all along. Then came month 6. I sent a single email. No big announcement. Just a timestamp, 10:01 a.m., and a resignation letter. Immediate departure. No explanation. No thank you. By 11:30, he'd called me 5 times. By noon, 2 emails. At 2 p.m., I spotted him outside the entrance of my new building, looking stunned and out of place. But it was already done. That same morning, every client I had cultivated, every deal I had personally sustained, they all followed me out. I didn't ask. I didn't have to. They knew where the value had always been. By 4 p.m., his company's stock dropped 12%. By 6 o'clock, the board was holding an emergency meeting. By midnight, his email account was deactivated. I never returned a single one of the 48 missed calls. 3 days later, he came to my new office. No greeting. Just stood there in silence, his face pale. "You used me," he said. I met his eyes, calm. "You used me, for 6 years." He tried to spin it. Deflect, plead. I listened. Then I handed him an envelope. Inside, printouts of all 13 rejection emails. Annotated. Highlighted. And 1 handwritten line across the bottom. Nothing personal. Maybe next time. I gave a slight nod. He turned and left, much slower than he'd arrived. Now, my firm is flourishing. My team is sharp, respected, fiercely loyal. The clients trust me. No more ceilings. No more forced smiles. I didn't destroy him. That would have been too easy. I replaced him. I erased the version of success he built by standing on my shoulders. And every time I walk past that shuttered old office downtown, the dark windows, the missing plaque, I think of those 13 times he said, "Next time." And I smile. Because I made my own.